Okay, hi everyone. Welcome to Business with Purpose TV. This is the show where we spotlight entrepreneurs, authors, and change makers. Yes, change makers building businesses aligned with purpose. I'm Chuck Casto.
And I'm Sue Brooke. I just added Greg on here. We're going to be interviewing three people. Before we get started, make sure that if you are watching this live, to keep muted until we get to the end, and we'll try to get to some questions. So, BWP is business with purpose, which is part of something way bigger than just ourselves. It's bigger than Alignable, where we're hosting this. It's a nonprofit, and really, it's become quite the movement. This is where we help entrepreneurs go through community, through education, and meaningful relationships and personal development. So make sure everybody's in the Business with Purpose group on Alignable.
Okay, terrific. So we're going to dive right in, Sue, and we are joined by some amazing folks this week. Janet Munro is here. I know Janet from way back from some other events that I've done that Janet would attend, and also the contest that I used to run for Alignable, and that's how I get to know a lot of people, including Janet. But it's great to see you again, Janet. Fantastic. And also John Petros. I call him Johnny P from Drake at Mass for short. He is at almost every event I'm ever at, and he's just a great guy and a great friend, and does a great job marketing. And we'll get into all of that. And then also Gregg Boone. Gregg Boone is here too, and all three of these lovely folks were contributors to this Amazon bestseller. This became a bestseller in, I think it was about 48 hours. Okay, it's got 42 different short stories from small business owners, including these three today. And we can't wait to get into this and talk about the epiphanies they've had, the stories, and really other tidbits that you'll want to take away from watching this.
Awesome. And so let's do some really quick introductions. Let's go around and hear from the three of you. Just give us a quick your name, that business name, and what and maybe just a short, like one sentence, what you do. Just so tell us who you are, what you do really fast. And what we really want to hear is a fun fact about you that
Yes,
nobody
yes.
knows that might be really shocking. Okay, so let's start with, who should we start with? John Petros. Go ahead.
All right, I had a funny feeling I was going to be first for some reason. You're wearing off on me, Chuck. I'm John Petros. I own Mill City Marketing, and what I do is I do ads on multiple media sources for small businesses to help them get their names out there and get known. I've on social media, live stream TV, radio, and even mainstream TV.
What's a
That
fun
is
fact
awesome.
about you? Fun fact.
Fun fact, John.
Fun fact. Well, before I got into marketing, I had a very bad rap on working for stores. Every store I worked for ended up closing.
Oh,
Wow.
So that was a
interesting.
bad rap to start with.
Okay, so much for retail for you. Okay, we're gonna stay out of that. Okay, good. Janet, how about you?
I'm Janet Munro. I'm from Barrie, Ontario, in Canada.
Lovely.
My husband and I ran a furniture business, custom furniture manufacturing business for over 40 years. But today, and with Business with Purpose, I'm here because I do what's called Roots and Branches Adoption Stories. And we tell we listen to stories from other people regarding adoption and stories they have to tell that we think everybody needs to hear and know. So I have my own story, but I'll tell you that later.
Well,
Fun
we'll get
fact
into
about me.
that.
Hmm?
Yeah.
Fun fact. In my furniture business in 2008, 2009, that recession, we built the world's largest rocking horse and got in the Guinness Book of Records.
Oh my God.
We had to do something different to get attention. So,
Oh my gosh. That's so
Wow,
cool. I
so
love
fun.
no.
it. Greg, tell us a quick who you are and a fun fact about you.
Sure, sure. Okay, Gregg Boone here with Boone's Farm, coming to you here from Kansas. Um, and I'm with a company called More Mito, and I help pets replenish their mitochondria. Um, a fun fact about me is when I was, oh gosh, about 25, 20, yeah, 25 years ago, um, I love chocolate and just wanted to make some truffles for myself. And they were so good. And my family loved them. My friends loved them. Um, and I had people push me into getting them marketed. So I started marketing them. And yeah, it took off. And that's basically how I began my entrepreneurial journey.
Oh, very cool. I love
Mhm.
that.
And I love chocolate, so
Yeah.
I
That's
know.
neat.
It's like, okay, now my mouth's watering. Gosh
Yeah.
darn it.
And just to clarify, when you're saying you're with Boone's Farm, you mean PHARM, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
That that started out as a cannabis business,
Okay.
and then but then that yeah, I had to leave the company. Um and then I got into more Mito, and the name just stuck. I had was already branded, I guess you would say. And so I just kept the name.
Very
Yeah.
awesome.
Okay. Well, it's certainly memorable. I just wanted to
Yeah.
clarify for anyone that, again, it
Yeah.
has to do with animals. Right.
Right, yeah. Yeah.
Right.
So
Okay. Very good.
cool. So let's get started with hearing from you guys. I mean, so we were talking about business with purpose, and we have a publishing where we started our very, very first book we just published called Built with Purpose. And so what the whole idea behind it was for us to get really amazing entrepreneurs who want to put a chapter in the book, and they write one of the chapters, and then we promote it like crazy. We all become best-selling authors, and we just help get as much visibility as possible for all of our authors. And then when they have it in their hand, they actually have a marketing tool that they can use to give these books away, to whatever they need to do with them to help people see them as an authority. So that's really what I teach with the books. But what we want, the whole thing about the stories are about purpose. And when I talk to people and when I do any of my events, I'll always ask everyone, so who started their business because of a burning passion or the purpose in their life? And pretty much everybody raises their hand almost every single time. So let's go around and talk about that first. I'm thinking, let's start with Janet. Tell us what, I'm just super intrigued with the whole adoption thing because I found a sister on Ancestry who was adopted before I was born, and I had no idea I had a sister until just a few years ago. So it's pretty interesting. So let's hear from you, Jana, how you got started with your business and how it aligns with your purpose.
I am back in 1969. I worked at the fishing lodge up in the Northwest Territories. Great Arctic Circle Lodge on Great Bear Lake. Great place to be for the summer. But that last night at the summer, big party, everybody gets together, Dirty Dancing kind of feel, every time I watch that movie, I go back to that. And then everybody left the next day. My sister had spent the summer in France, and she came back from there engaged to a gentleman that she'd met a year before. And I came back from the Northwest Territories and I was pregnant. And this was 1970 when it was not a good time to be pregnant. You're an unwed mother. You're a disgrace to the family. They have to hide you away so that nobody knows that you're pregnant. And so I lived in a home with a family and looked after their two kids until I actually gave birth to my son on June 2nd, 1970. And he was adopted straight from the hospital. So
Wow.
when you give birth at that time, you're told, forget about being pregnant, forget that you had a child. It's out of your head. And you keep going with life. And that's what I did. Yeah, I ended up moving from Winnipeg, Manitoba to Toronto. and ended up, I've had a great life. I got married, I had two kids, we ran a business for over 40 years, and then my husband passed away in 2015. My dad was living in Montreal and he got sick. I went to look after him back and forth for a while. And when I'm cleaning out his house to get ready for him to go into a home, I found a file folder with my name on it that had a letter from the adoption agency looking for information about me.
Wow.
So I responded to them. That was from dated in 2004 and we're 2016, but I responded to them
Mhm.
and they needed some information from me. But finally, about a year later, I got a letter from them saying, we're sorry, but we don't know where your son is, but this is his name and his last known address. So when you get a letter from somebody with a name, what do? Google, right? So I Googled and I said to myself, thank God his name is Dwayne Tabinski and not John Smith.
Right.
I Googled him, and a real estate agent in Nashville said that they had just sold a house to a Dwayne Tabinski. Went on it, took me to his Facebook page. He was born in Winnipeg, Manitoba, went to Kansas, and now is in Nashville. And that was him. And so I was able to get in touch with him eventually and able to meet him. And we had a great 6 years together before he was killed in a workplace accident.
Oh,
Sad ending, but you know what? 6 years was way more than what was ever intended. And
wow.
he passed away in 2023. He was in Nashville. He was in the music industry. He did audio and sound staging, and he had a contract with NASCAR, and he was doing the pre-race show in Chicago on June 30th, 2023, and he was electrocuted and
Ooh,
gone. Yeah. So it was
wow.
a sad ending, but telling my story, there's so much good in that story. We always said it was an Oprah story, a Hallmark movie kind of story. And because of that, people said, you've got to tell your story. And so I started telling it and listening to other stories. And now I started doing podcasts last year. I'm on 38 now. The 38th one will be out this week.
Wow.
And it's just kind of growing slowly but surely. I'm still not sure exactly where I'm going with it, but I feel like I'm giving back. I'm giving people the opportunity to talk about things that happen.
And
Uh,
boy, do people need to hear that story. I
Yeah.
mean, that's a
awesome.
that there are so many transitions there that you had that people could identify with. That's amazing, Janet.
Awesome. And the
Uh,
purpose just comes through just listening to
Yes.
talk about it. And it's interesting because my mother, who passed away when I was only 8 years old, and we had no idea she even had another child. And I think it was a similar story that we kind of figured out that that was in 1954 that she got pregnant. So that was, definitely not a cool thing back there that anybody would want anybody to know. So we still don't know all the details, but she had the baby and same thing, gave it up for adoption. And and it was magically just because of ancestry DNA that we were connected, which was crazy story. So I love that. I love that story for you.
Lots of stories. I have a gentleman who said, I've been a dad for 4 years, but my son's 40 years old.
Wow.
He didn't know he had a son, found it through DNA testing. So I have lots of stories, good, heartbreaking, and heartwarming. Both.
Amazing. Yeah, you need to write a book with all those stories in it for sure. Let's,
That's I'm gonna have a talk with Fran.
yeah,
Okay.
no kidding.
Okay.
Oh my God, I would read that in a second. All right, well that's pretty
That
awesome. I
that's a
love
that's
that.
a that's a tough act to follow, Janet.
No kidding.
Greg, how about you? Let's talk about your business purpose and your story.
Sure. Okay, so mine started rather simply. I was just sitting home on a Saturday morning watching TV, and they usually have animal rescue shows on and stuff like that, and I was watching one and it was some inmates who were doing some rehabilitation with rescued horses and not sure what the horses were being rescued from. Um, you know, had no idea. And so I went on the internet and yeah, it just was very disturbing what I found. And you can't unsee that. Um, and you can't, sorry,
Take your time.
can't, you can't, you can't not do anything. So, yeah, so, um, I decided, I decided that, I needed to start a business and try to fund my mission to help rescue horses and just
I think that's amazing.
That is amazing. And it's very topical, Greg, too. I've seen some coverage on all of that and what you're saying you can't unsee. Yes. Yeah, some terrible things are happening to horses. So thank you for embracing that passion and that mission.
Love it. You know, there's some reasons why, there's always reasons why people, something that happens in their life that make them go, you know what, this is where I'm supposed to be. This is what I'm supposed to, that's why I'm on this earth, right? That's how, I mean, those, I have those stories I know we all have in the room. So
Mhm.
I love that you found that, Greg, and then what you're doing in your business is helping support that. So we're going to come back and learn a little bit more about that in your story in a minute. But thank you so much for sharing that. And
Boy, another powerful
wow.
one. Wow.
So
Okay. Johnny
John,
P.
talk about your purpose. Oh, you have to unmute.
You
Stay
need to
unmuted, John.
unmute. Oh, there we go.
I unmuted because the kids are making a noise in the background. We have the grandkids for a week now as of today. Um, yeah, those are two tough acts to follow for sure. Um, my purpose for doing what I'm doing is when COVID hit, I was doing marketing for myself before that, being a travel agent. And when COVID hit, was not the time to start being a travel agent. And I said, well, what am I going to do then? I mean, I lost my job at the local newspaper back in, oh God, 2012, I think it was, or sometime back then. And I said, well, when COVID hit, I saw a lot of local businesses close their doors. Most of them never came back from COVID. Those that did, some of them couldn't get their customer base back. That they um, help small businesses get their businesses big enough so if something like that happens again, they'll be able to survive like the big businesses do. And right now, there's a lot of small businesses that are opening up that need to get their word out. And how they going to do that? A lot of them can't afford what a lot of marketers charge. I'm willing to work with whatever budget small businesses have. If it means I can only help with one thing, then I'll look at their business, see where they need help first, and start there and help them build their business.
I think that's awesome. And that's you and I have a lot in common because when COVID hit for me, I was living in Northern California and I was doing my thing and when that happened, I just could, my heart just burst in a million pieces for all these business owners because I'd been working with them and I just watched all what you were just saying. And so that's when I got Sherry and my friend Fran and a couple of the people and said, we're going to start doing our mastermind. Just just to see what we could all do to help each other survive and try to figure out how we needed to pivot in our businesses. You know, there were just so many, you know, that like hairstylists, especially people like that, that everything stopped and they didn't have anything to fall back on. So I totally love that that's
Yeah.
what got you started because that's, we have a lot in common that way too. Which brings us to what we're doing now. What about
Plus,
you,
I
Chuck,
think,
while we have you on here?
What about me?
Yeah.
Well, One of my businesses, well, both of my businesses really are around purpose. I mean, certainly while I was working at Alignable and running the contests, I mean, that was angelically inspired. There's no two ways about that. And that's why I fought so hard for it, because I was like, we need to help small businesses to get the recognition they deserve that so few people ever feel from being a small business owner. So that did a lot for their revenue, did a lot for their self-esteem, which was really, I mean, I've got shivers just talking about it, and did a lot for their networking. So that was so great, and that's on the PR side, but also on my psychic side. I mean, I've been so fortunate to be able to save some lives and also help redirect a few lives to soul purposes. And it's all through angelic guidance and numerology and really being open to it. And I've been doing that secretly for 46 years.
It's
Not
amazing.
so secretly now, but
Yes, exactly. So let's shift the focus here since we are talking about the book and there is a reason I really want to know from all of you what made you say yes to becoming an author. When you saw this, what made you go, you know what, I need to put my story in that book. What was it, the catalyst that did that? Let's start with Gregg this time.
Okay, sure. Well, my reason was just to get my story out there. I knew that it would be seen by a lot of people, and that would definitely raise some awareness, which is what it needs is
Absolutely.
to, yeah.
Awesome. And what surprised you the most about this whole process and actually holding the book in your hand and getting the
seeing it
book
in
published?
print, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
So I guess what surprised me the most was how fast everything moved. You, you and Fran and everyone else that was involved just really, I mean, it just came together quickly.
great.
And and then holding the book was pretty cool. It was like, wow, there's my picture, and yeah, it
I
was
love
good.
it. I love it. Cool. How about you, John? What made
Me,
you say
um, well, I kind of like my podcast. I kind of fell into it, shall we
you
say?
did?
But yeah, being in a book has inspired me to get back into a book I started 3 years ago that's
Wow.
been sitting on my desk for the last year and a half,
That's
collecting dust.
I love
Um,
it.
but yeah, it was an inspiration just putting some things together, and then what I sent into Fran and what she sent back to me definitely was not the same thing. It was a hell of a lot better.
Wow. And did anything surprise you about what happened after the book was published or through the process?
I was very shocked at about the process, but also the fact that, like Chuck said, I think it was like 48 hours, it went #1 on Amazon, and that was even before the print came out. A little
It's
secret I didn't know about, but I liked.
exactly. Well, the whole thing is, when I talk about why every single person should be in a book like this, is because there's 42 authors in here. And when you start promoting it, all these authors in the book have networks of people. And so when I've done my own book, I have my own books here, so when this one came out a year and a half ago or whatever it was, it's just me and my network and anybody that I know, and then hopefully the people I know will tell people, but it's a lot smaller than getting 42 people with all of their networks
Yeah,
promoting me. And that's really what happens. That's the exciting part of it. And that's why we became number one so fast, because all these people had networks of people and they told everybody who told everybody, and they all got the books, and then we just became number one really quickly. So yeah,
And
thank you.
then one thing I want to bring up with John, since you're here, John, we encourage everybody to do at least one live book signing event, whether it's with an alliance meeting, whether it's just on your own, whether it's with a local bookstore or restaurant. But John and I had our first book signing when what about a week and a half ago or
Yeah.
so. Did it through an event that John was involved in, and it was fantastic. And we did a little, I made a little promo on it, and we got it out there, and we did sell 7 books and gave one away for free. And
Oh, that's awesome.
not like I'm counting, but yeah, it was nice. And since then, I will tell you, I've done 3 or 4 readings for people who were at that event. So they they signed it. I signed it, and then they looked at my chapter and they were, holy moly. And then they said, well, we're gonna go talk to him. And
Oh, I
that's
love
that. Yeah.
it. I love it. We're doing another book signing out here in Phoenix the same way. So that's
All
pretty.
right.
Yeah, that's the other thing. When you do get in a book like this, and then you can order the author copies of the book for way cheaper than what you would have to do if you order them on Amazon, and then you can sell the book, so which covers your cost of your chapter, which is pretty amazing as well. But I want to,
John made $100 at that event. So,
wow, that's
that's
amazing. Yeah,
You never know.
exactly. So Janet, you're muted, but come on and tell us about what made you say yes to being in the book and what surprised you about the whole thing.
Well, I heard about the book at the beginning when you started doing it, but I didn't participate at that point in time. In fact, I think I was probably one of the latter persons to say yes.
Oh,
And it just, when you're given an opportunity, you should grab it, right? You shouldn't say no. And that was, I said to myself, I'm going to be crazy if I don't jump on this bandwagon and go with everybody else. And that's what got me to sign up. I had been working with ChatGPT because most of my stories go into there and they come back with how to outline everything. So I talked to my friend Cliff, who I named my ChatGPT guy because I figure everybody who's doing a story for me is jumping off a cliff. And I put my story in and said, "Can you give me a chapter? So many words," and it did. And
wow.
it was so fast. I think I decided on the Tuesday we had to have it in by the Saturday or something, and so I'd do it on the Tuesday, and by Saturday, Fran had everything. It was all good.
Oh my gosh,
Uh,
that's amazing. So,
yeah.
it's funny. I'm gonna talk. I'll talk about this a little bit towards the end, but we're now doing expert books where you can now, instead of being one of 42 authors or however many is in the other books, is we are doing more of these for women entrepreneurs, reinvented, and veterans, which I can't wait for. So, but now what we realized is all these authors are experts in something. Every single one of you is an expert in something. And we're like, well, and then a lot of the people, including like John, you were just saying, I've heard this story so many times that it's like, well, I've been having this, I thought I should write a book, or I started one. And Tom Chase, who was here a few weeks ago, was like, he started a long time ago, and it just writing that one chapter, getting published, being the bestseller, now has catapulted everybody to write their book. So we are now doing expert books where someone can get in, and I created, it's called a GPT. It's using AI that will absolutely ask you questions or walk you through it, or you can upload the stuff you already have, and it will organize it and put it in a nice, beautiful format for our expert series books. And then we literally, within a week or two, could get the darn thing published and on Amazon that fast. You can have your very own book, and I'll show everybody at the end. I'll share my screen and show you guys how amazing it is. I've been showing people a little things, so I'll do that. But let's get back to some more stories. What do you want to ask him, Chuck?
Oh boy, I want to ask him so much.
Oh, go.
Um, Janet, I want to know what it felt, given everything that was in your story and everything that's happened to you in general in this lifetime so far. How did it feel for you to see it in print? Because that way, I mean, it was that's a heck of a story, and all of a sudden you're like, wow, oh, that's in a book. How'd you
Uh,
feel about it?
I've had a good life. I just turned 77,
Wow.
and I'm so grateful for everything that I've had. And I'm grateful for this as an opportunity, and I'm grateful that I did it, that I took that step forward and said yes. So I look at that and I read it, and I think to myself, that's a story that's going to hit somebody. Somebody's going to read it and feel it and hopefully help them. And that's what it's all about.
Wow.
So I'm just going to continue with doing what I'm doing, and all being well, it will just do some good for all the people out there that are adopted or part of that adoption world and make them all feel better.
Think of what that story could do. Really, think of all the reunions that story could kick off.
Well,
Yeah.
there's so many, I just know through Ancestry and 23 and Me or whatever that's what it's called, that people are finding people that they never would find any other way. I remember getting the message on Facebook from a cousin of my mother's that I lost track of that whole part of my life, because my mother died when I was 8 and lost track of them. And she said, Sue, I need to talk to you. I have something important to tell you. And I thought, well, I wouldn't even know if someone died. I probably wouldn't even know who they were or whatever it was. And she said, no, it looks like you have a sister. I'm like, what are you talking about? I have a sister. She was, no. Uh, her nephew had put the DNA in and it matched up with a girl in Northern California. And then it was like magically crazy how it all happened. So that was a life-changing thing in and of itself.
Yeah.
But I think there's so many stories like that, and I think people love reading them. And just one more thing before we go to the other guys. And so when that happened, we got interviewed all over the place. So everybody wanted to interview us. So, but we started getting a lot of people reaching out to us that not only had good stories like ours, but some not so good stories. So there's a lot of really sad stories too when it comes to that. So, like my sister, my new sister, obviously didn't get to meet her mother. She did find her father, but that family would not let her meet him because he was older. Anyway, long story there, but yeah, I love what you're doing, Janet. I think it's amazing, amazing, amazing.
Talk about a sole purpose too. I
I
mean,
know.
wow.
Exactly. Cool. All right, what's the next question, Chuck?
Okay, so Greg, I want to know more about how you feel that I mean you're pursuing such an important cause and a cause that not as many people know about that should. Okay,
Hmm.
certainly an awareness issue there. Um, and with your emotions behind that, how does that feel? Having put it in the book, and you see it in the book too, because again, that's a really emotional story. Did you feel like the book, people reading that book, this book, will be like, we've got to help Greg to help the horses. We've got to do something more there.
I love it.
Yeah, I feel like if enough of the right people read the book and they love horses as much as I'm assuming we all do right here,
Yes.
then yeah, they'll want to take some action for sure.
Well,
Wow.
plus when you think about it, and I mean, I don't know how many people watching this agree with this, but I love all the Hallmark shows set 100 years ago or 150 years ago. I'm addicted to every last one of them. And you watch those, and horses built America. Okay,
Oh yeah.
horses did before the trains, before anything else.
Mhm.
And they're I mean they're beautiful animals. They're very bright. They're used
Yes.
in healing for
Mhm.
people. I
Right.
mean, you know, everything you're doing is great, and it's amazing you have to,
Mm.
that there's that other side where people are doing things to horses that you just can't fathom it. But
Yeah.
thank goodness you're diving in and you're helping.
Yeah. Absolutely. Thank you.
That's
So,
amazing.
yeah.
John, how about you? Like you've been around me, you've been in the media, you've been, yeah, I mean, you've been, at newspapers and you're doing all sorts of things like that. But all of a sudden, you're in a book. All of a sudden, and again, you know that I'm working on my other bigger book, but this was a way to make me finish the bigger book because I actually put the name of it
Yeah.
in here. How about you? Like when you're like, oh my God, wait a minute. I did have the pleasure of meeting his lovely wife, Phyllis, okay, during a reading not so long ago. And
Whose birthday is tomorrow?
did you say, hey, Phyllis, oh my God, I actually did it. Wait a minute, it's actually here.
Her birthday's tomorrow, by the way, Chuck.
Oh, wish her a very happy birthday for me. That's exciting.
I'll let you say it on your show tomorrow.
Okay. Okay, you bet. You bet. Thank you. Tomorrow, May 21st. Okay, Phyllis.
I love it.
Yeah, I mean, when I got my order of books in, um, which was 20 books, by the way, I did do a video, but it didn't take too well. I had a friend there that was present when I was opening the case, and he said, "You're in a book." He hasn't bought one yet, though. Uh, but just how it felt taking the one book out and holding it up, looking in and seeing my picture on the page.
Right.
It was just, how do I put it? Overwhelming.
Wow.
And like I said, it put me back in to get this thing done.
Yeah, oh, there we go. Okay, we're seeing some progress there. That's
But
I love it. So
no,
let's go around, Chuck, and just like have everybody offer any last bit of advice before we wrap it up for today. Anything that you want to share with an audience that might want to be in a book, or and then we'll go around and have you share how you can we can meet with you or people can find you. So let's start with Janet this time.
If you have an opportunity to be in a book or for any opportunity, take it. Don't sit back because it might never come around again. So just do it.
I love it. And go ahead and tell people how to reach you, how to get in touch with you.
You can reach me. My phone number is 615-870-6433. And my podcast is on YouTube, and it's youtube.com/the @Roots and Branches AS for Roots and Branches Adoption Stories. Yes.
Roots and Branches
AS.
AS. Okay, got it. Perfect. All right. Thank you. John, any last bit of advice for anybody who might want to be an author in a book and how to reach you?
well, something that you say all the time, Sue. Everybody has a story, whether they know it or not. All you have to do is just sit down and just as thoughts come about what you've done or things you went through, write them down. You'd be surprised how fast that list grows into a book. And with Fran and Sue behind you, it'll get out. Trust me.
you might
And
not be the same again. No, teasing. No, you'll love
and
it. You'll love it.
like one thing they didn't mention is we all have a phrase in the beginning of our chapters. I kind of took an old phrase and made it my own,
I love it.
where if a mistake is not a mistake, it's a learning episode. And like the old phrase goes, if at first you don't succeed, try again until you do.
I love it. And tell people how they can reach you. Fine.
You can reach me on Alignable, which if you're a business and you're not on Alignable, you should be. Um, you can reach me on Alignable. My email is millcitymarketingma@gmail.com. My website is Mill City Business Help with one S at the end of business.com. Those are probably the two best ways to get a hold of me.
Awesome. Great. Gregg, what about you? Bit of advice for anybody that wants to do this and how to reach you.
Sure, sure. All right. Well, I had always in the back of my head kind of toyed with the idea of writing a book someday, but didn't really think that I had a story. And
What?
yeah.
Everybody thinks
And
amazing.
right.
Please, and your story. Goodness gracious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, I, saw the book in there in Alignable, and I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna go for it. I'm just gonna go for it. And it was, yeah, it was exciting. Um, so anybody on the fence, I, you know, just go for it. Yeah. Um, and then how to reach me. My website is at the end of my chapter, and you can go to that website. My name and number is on there. Um, just in case you don't, it's More Mito MITO.com/Gregg Gregg Boone Boone.
Love it. Awesome.
Okay.
All right.
Terrific. Final
I
thing, I do want to say a couple things. I do want to remind people they can go on Amazon and get this book and read their stories.
that's right.
Okay, because that's exciting. And of course, the proceeds from the book go to Business with Purpose, which is our nonprofit. And you'll be amazed if anyone watching this right now, if you get this book and you read the 42 stories and you don't think that something is hitting you, I want to hear from you because I don't think that's possible.
Yes, they are amazing. So I want to thank everybody for being here and for
Yes.
watching Business with Purpose TV. So if anything from this conversation hit home for you, don't ignore it. Maybe your story matters more than you think it does. And maybe your story can inspire someone else in the world. I really, really, really believe that when you share your story, you never know who it's gonna affect. I mean, I know that stories have affected me in particular ways too. So join the community, become an author, be a part of the movement, go to the publishing part, businesswithpurpose.org, click check out the publishing division, find out how you can get in one of our future compilation books and how you can be in our brand new expert books, which you can find there. I do a lot of events in Business with Purpose. So take it away, Jack. I think
Yes.
we did a
Okay.
good
That's
job today.
fantastic. Thanks again for everyone joining us. And please keep in mind, we still have some space, right, Sue, in the Women Entrepreneur book. And the veterans book,
That's
we're
a big
trying to get that booked, pardon me for that. We're
one.
trying to get all of the authors booked for that by early June so that we can get that out in time for the 250th anniversary of the United States. So
Uh,
we are trying to do that. And then we also have one for entrepreneurs who've had a major
reinvented.
pivot, right? Reinventing.
Yep.
Yeah, and we also have entrepreneurs who love pets and pet people and pet
Oh,
industry
that's right. Yeah.
people. Right. And for women in construction too.
Well, actually,
Every
we're pausing the women in construction to be in the women's book because we just had
oh,
too many books to pick from. So we're pausing that one. So
okay,
it's
okay.
reinvented women entrepreneurs and veterans, and then the pet
Yeah,
business owners book is
yes.
going already. We already have authors in that one. So cool.
So
All
that's
right.
great.
Thanks
Thanks for
again for
joining us, guys. Next week,
Thanks for
we'll
having
see
us.
you at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific, and we'll have a whole new group of authors to talk with too. And please, if you see this, please don't be shy about sharing it or commenting or reaching out to us. You can reach me at chuckcasto@gmail.com. I'd love to hear any of your thoughts on this, and I can help you get in touch with all of these wonderful folks too.
Awesome. All right, you guys, thanks for showing up and being a part of this today, and we'll see you all next week.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye,
Have a good
Sarah.
night.
Everyone.